Hey, good morning or good afternoon. Welcome, Leo. I'm Karen. This is Veronica's Dreams Coaching and Tarot. This reading is for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, January 2024. It's a general reading, no specific life area topic. We'll just do looking at a current situation and the influences around that. And as always, a piece of advice to follow. And I'm going to use the Somnia Tarot Illustrated Edition today. I have all kinds of choices to clarify, so it depends on my mood. If I do. So I don't always clarify, it depends. Okay, let's get started here, Leo. What do our Leos need to know for January 2024? Okay. What do we got? Current situation, judgment, and past influence is the Hermit. Present influence, Knight of Coins. Okay, negative. Page of Coins, positive. Seven of Coins. Wow. Okay. What you don't see, Queen of Wands, what to look for. Five of Wands, unexpected. High Priestess, challenge. Three of Wands, future influence. Eight of Wands, and where does this go? Oh, Lovers. Interesting. I'm going to clarify that. And advice. 10 of Cups with the 9 of Wands at the bottom of the deck here. So when that comes up at the bottom of the deck, the 9 of Wands, whatever's at the bottom of the deck kind of just gives me an overall feel. I don't necessarily use it in the reading. It's more about how the reading kind of sets, and I feel like this is definitely something that's been on your mind for a long time. 9 of Wands, you've really worked through it. You've are still working through it. However, there is probably some kind of feeling of, I'm done. I'm tired. I'm done. But knowing that you're not, you won't stop. Like, you're not going to stop because there's something important here going on. But there is a feeling of, and especially with that Knight of Pentacles and the present influence, something's moving really slow, which is not a Leo's favorite thing. But overall, I think the reading's pretty good. So I am going to clarify that Lovers at the bottom. We'll see what that is. But I do feel like, well, we'll see. Maybe I don't need to. So the current situation is the Judgment. So there is some kind of either, I feel like it's you kind of, I don't want to say really being reborn, but kind of coming into view with something. What we have here is the Hermit in the past. So the past influence, which was very recent, or even right now, you feel like you've been really kind of honing in on yourself, honing in on what's important to you. There hasn't been maybe a lot of action in your life, or if there has been action, it's been not at the forefront of your thoughts. It's really about, like, what do I need to do to make my life better? What do I need to do to make this situation better? You know, all of these things, but I feel like it's a lot of self-growth. And with the Judgment, that tells me that that's what's happening. Like, the current situation is the growth, is feeling reborn to some degree or another. But that's the key there, is that you've kind of worked really hard on this for a while. I feel like also there's a situation where the Knight of Pentacles is all about patience. It's taking a long time. Something's taking its time. And whatever is happening here in your life, it's going to take time. There has been something that has been started, and I feel like it comes from that Hermit, of course, that time you've taken for yourself, those ideas that you've come to flourish with. It's just taken a long time. Like, I feel really like okay, whenever, like, whenever you want to, let's get going here. It's got that kind of feel. But I feel like it's good. I feel like there's something good happening here. So it's all about keeping that patience. And the negative is the Page of Pentacles. There is something that you've discovered that I think you're having a rough time with. It's either maybe something about yourself, or something. I mean, you could have discovered something about someone else, something about yourself, something about a situation. But I still feel like it all has to revolves around yourself. And I think you're struggling with kind of like that revelation. You're going, I might need to change that. And, change is hard. So that's why it's negative. It's not necessarily negative in the respect that you found it. It's negative in the respect that you're struggling with it. Also, it could be something that you discovered that you're putting in the forefront that maybe you shouldn't. That happens a lot, like when we're revisiting ourselves or trying to learn more about ourselves or a relationship or what have you. We can learn something and then give it more weight than it deserves. And that can happen. And that could be what this is too, that you found something and you're giving it so much weight when really it's a really small thing. You're making it bigger than it is. Like you're allowing it to grow when it probably doesn't need to, or doesn't even have to, or really isn't a big deal at all. But you're thinking that it might be. The Seven of Pentacles is in the positive, in the positive area. And this talks totally about, oh no, I'm sorry. This is the Eight of Pentacles. I don't know where I got seven. This is the eight. Yeah, you are definitely learning all kinds of things. So there's something that you may have discovered that you didn't realize was a problem. But I feel like that the eight is the positive thing is that you're continuing to work on it. You're not stopping. You're not getting discouraged, which is really important. The Eight of Pentacles is all about hard work, putting the work in, continuing the work until you become an expert at it. Refining what you're doing. And that's exactly what's happening here, which is good, because even if you're frustrated because it's moving slow, and even if you're frustrated because you learned something you didn't necessarily like about yourself, or something that you maybe like about yourself, but it's not, doing you well, you're sticking with it. You have stick-to-itiveness, as we call it. You're really moving forward with it. And I like this card in the positive, because this does talk about more patience than you may think you have. But because this is so important to you, this is not that hard to do for you. That whatever work you're doing here is not hard for you right now, because you're enjoying this journey of learning more about yourself, learning about any of these things, even this thing that you discovered that may be hard a little bit, the overall journey you're enjoying. That's the way I'm getting the feeling. So I feel like whatever it is you're working on, and it has been, that Hermit in the past means that you've been in a kind of a solitude type place. Also, the Hermit reminds me of, when it comes up, especially in advice, it reminds me that sometimes you need to ask yourself and don't ask anyone else for their advice. Sometimes when we get an idea or something, we're asking everybody, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And instead go, okay, what do I think? And instead of bringing it up to everybody, there can be different reasons why you don't want to bring it up to everybody too. But I don't think that's in these cards. What you don't see is the Queen of Wands. And I feel like this is you. I feel like this is you really focusing and being who you are. Like this is the part of you finding out you. And I think maybe as I talk through this, you may not have realized that that's what you were doing here with this Judgment and the Hermit. Because this is in the what you don't see. But I do feel like this is all about you and who you are, and coming out of whatever funk or whatever predicament you were in, you're spending the time to get out of it. And I feel like this is you doing that work. And having that motivation too, to keep doing it. Again, it's pretty positive that you're not stopping. You're working on this and you're going to work on it until you feel like you've gotten to where you need to be. And I feel like it really is that way. What to watch for is the Five of Wands. Don't let anybody put out your flame, man. So when I look at this Five of Wands, there's a bellow and he's blowing it out the candles. So there can be conflict and someone cannot agree with what you're doing or how you're doing it or why you're doing it or whatever. Don't let them blow out your flame. If this is something you really want to do, don't let them discourage you. You know, that's important. Like, don't let someone discourage you or your excitement. Sometimes, and I don't know about all fire signs, I'm an Aries, so I know I can speak to myself. Sometimes when I'm really excited about something and really passionate about something, and someone tells me like I can't do it, or sometimes it makes me go the other way, like, okay, well, I'll show you. But then sometimes I kind of crawl back and go, golly, I was so excited about that. And then I get bummed. And it's like, why? Stay excited about it just because someone else has something to say about it. I mean, unless they're absolutely 100% true. But this is, watch for that. Watch for people trying to blow out your candle. Watch for people trying to blow out the flame. Also, you know, watch for conflict too. But I think the conflict comes with someone not agreeing with you and what you want to do. And I wouldn't always say like stand up for yourself. Sometimes we need to, you know, compromise, all of those things. But if this truly is about your healing and your journey and your rebirth, you've got Hermit, you've got Judgment, and you've got the Queen of Wands here. If this is truly about you and you're not hurting anyone else, then don't let anyone blow out your excitement. You know what I mean? Keep moving forward. You've got this in the bag. Like, this is your positive. This is a really good positive energy. So what is unexpected? The High Priestess. You know what you need. You know exactly what you need. And you are going to have that aha moment of, I know what I need to do. I know exactly what I need to do. And that's why this is in the unexpected. The High Priestess is about our inner selves, our higher selves, our intuition. It can be very spiritual card. I read it a lot of different ways depending on where it ends up in a reading. But in this case, I feel like it's unexpected, and you are going to have some kind of inner aha moment. And it's going to be really important because there is good stuff happening here. I mean, there's really good stuff going on. And this is all because of the energy that you're putting into it. The Three of Wands is the challenge. And you are struggling a little bit with the time it's taking. You're doing it. You're doing the work. But there's a part of you you want to see results. And you have not seen those results yet. And that's why this card is showing up in the challenge. You want to see those results. And it doesn't mean that you won't. It's just taking time. Because I do feel like you will see the results. You absolutely will see the results. It's just a challenge right now. It's not this huge, insurmountable challenge. It's just something that's on your mind. You know what I mean? Like, and that, of course, right? I mean, when we're doing something, we want to see how it's going to come out. We do. No matter how much energy we're willing to give it until it works, there's a part of us that wants to see some kind of benefit for something. And it takes a long time. You know, like I first started this channel and I was getting like 1 subscriber a month, maybe. And it was fine. I thought, you know, if I reach 3 people, I'm good. I had to find a place in my heart where I was, okay, if I reach 1 or 2 people, that's good. And then it was like, okay, well, if I reach 10 people, that's good. Like, I'm happy with that. And while I am not a big channel by any means, the patience is, you know, I am seeing, you know, more and more subscribers and viewers. So I think it's just a matter, and I'm putting that out there just only because it's a perfect example of me like just sticking with it. I just stuck with it. And that's not like me because I like instant gratification. I like need it now. And I just stuck with it. Well, I love doing this. So it was not work to me. It was fun. I enjoy it. So that's what I think is happening here. But there is that little bit of I want to see some, you know, some real benefit here. The good thing is your future influence is the 8 of Wands. I mean, look at that. What's better than that? Like, 8 of Wands is about really good energy coming in. It could be a message as well. And in this deck, it can be a little bit about getting dizzy. I just sit there and envision that chandelier going back and forth and back and forth and going, okay, now I'm a little dizzy. But the Eight of Wands can do that to you. Like, right? The Eight of Wands energy is so fast and in very quick energy. It's really exciting energy that comes in. But I feel like this could be like the answer. I feel like you're going to discover the answer. And I think that's what the High Priestess is. And that's what this is. There'll be some kind of message, whether it come from your higher self or whether it actually comes from somebody. There is going to be a feeling of, this is going to come in. The problem is here's all this waiting, right? You're working, and all of a sudden it happens. Everything just comes together like really quick. That's what the Eight of Wands energy is. Where does it lead? Our outcome is Lovers. So I do feel like I wanted to pull a couple cards on this. What is this Lovers? Because I want to make sure. Yeah, I mean, what comes after the Lovers? Okay. Yeah, I feel like, well, I mean, I don't know. I got Knight of Wands, 10 of Swords, 4 of Swords as a clarifier. And here's the Lovers. I mean, I feel like it's an ending to the work that you've been doing. And the Knight of Wands, again, kind of feels like the Eight of Wands energy where you have some really good, passionate stuff coming in. And it leads to the Emperor, which puts you in a lot more control here. I do not feel completely like this Lovers is a person, someone coming into your life. However, it could be your relationship with whatever it is you're working on. If you are working on a relationship, then yes, it's a relationship. If you're working on, something at work, it's going to be the success of that there's no more, that the ending of the waiting is near, the healing is done, because we have the Knight of Wands coming in. And I do feel like that energy is good, and it does lead to the Emperor, which puts you back into control. I don't think this is somebody. I think it's you standing up and being, everything solidifies. That Emperor, now this is out a little bit more ways. This could be into February, but that Emperor energy after the Lovers is going to make you go, you're going to see the benefit of everything. That Three of Wands is no longer going to be a challenge. You're going to start seeing what you've done, what you have accomplished, and you're going to see the rewards of that. Whatever that reward is, whether it's a financial reward or whether it's just a personal reward, you'll start seeing it. And that puts you back in control. Because I feel like this is a little bit, it's not a bad, by any means, it's not bad. And you're doing all of the right things. It's just a little frustrating because of the movement. The 10 of Cups is in your advice. And I do feel like this is like, understand how things come together. Understand yourself and your higher self and all of those things that you're working on, whatever it is you're working on, and see how they come together. So this 10 of Cups, I feel like all of that water like comes together in the end. And if these aren't set up correctly, they're not going to pour correctly. It's like dominoes, right? You put the dominoes and you stack them. If you have one off, it just messes up the whole thing. This is kind of that. It's like, look at everything you have, put it in line. Whether this is a relationship, if it's a relationship, make sure it's even on both sides. If it's just your thoughts and things like that, just make sure that you have everything squared up. I know this is a relationship card. It's all about love, but it's also about coming together and making sure that everything's coming together the way it should. When it comes up in advice, it's a little bit different. And I am an intuitive reader. I read how I see the cards at the time. So they tend to have a little bit of different meanings to me. Different messages. I'm sorry, not necessarily meanings, different messages. So that's that I think is just making sure everything's right. And that's just, you know, what you need to do. So there you have it, Leo. I hope you enjoyed this. Please hit the like button and give me a comment. I appreciate all of those things. Thank you. Take care. Have a beautiful day.